true. Hi guys! What's up? Welcome to Kamen Rider Korner! So we have a new cast member joining.
And ignore my phone. So, so it's going great so far. We have a new cast member today.
And this is Paula Gaetos. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I did!
Wow, first time.
Woo! Really? I don't believe that.
Most people like do Gaetos.
Gaetos.
I mean, it's traditional Spanish way to say it. Yeah.
This is your second time on the show. Because you were, do you remember the first episode you did?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's probably like one of the very early ones.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, one of those.
Yeah, one of those.
It's a prime number, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean,
But you're here regularly now.
it's
I can be.
it's my first time on stream with her, but I did a panel with her at LA Comic-Con. That was fun, unexpected, but it was fun.
It was nice, thanks for inviting me.
So yeah, let's say hi to chat really quick. What's up, Ryan, Earl Wizard, Earl Ryder Wizard, Thomas, Linnell Delator. I'm sorry guys, I can't read today. Special Form 12, JD, he's our producer today, JDF. And yeah, so hopefully we'll grab more people by the middle of the stream. Hopefully that happens. So really quick, we have our super chat feature that happens on the little S button in the chat. You press that, and it's a donation towards the show. And if you do, it's greatly appreciated.
And it lets us keep doing what we're doing.
Yes, exactly. It lets you help support the show, and it helps us see the comment because they move pretty fast. So, get to that. Any writer news that I'm blanking?
That you possibly might have missed.
Yeah.
I can't think of any right now. Paula.
Whatchamacallit, there's a few that came up, namely just because Premium Bandai launched a bunch of new fashion items. So if you are really into Kamen Rider Build right now, they have Miss Aura's Giant Bunny that's available on Premium Bandai now.
I do, no shame.
One of the really, just a general Kamen Rider news in terms of Premium Bandai fashion is coming out. They're also having a new Deno jewelry line, which is...
Oh, that looks so good! I love that!
If you don't notice how much I like jewelry, it was kind of one of my favorite
I'll
things.
wear it.
I know, right? Let's see. So those are big Premium Bandai news that's happening right now for Kamen Rider.
I saw all of those, and they all look fantastic. I was like, oh man, I really hope this isn't specifically just for girls.
Yeah, well, one of the big news for Kamen Rider right now is that the guy who played Kamen Rider Baron in the Kamen Rider Gaim series, Yutaka Kobayashi, has been chosen to carry the Winter 2018 Olympic torch.
That's awesome!
So we will see a Kamen Rider actor from Kamen Rider Gaim carrying the Olympic torch for Winter Olympics this year.
I'm so happy for him!
Yeah, it's kind of like one of the big news that came out this past week.
Yeah.
Dude!
Yeah, that's super cool.
That's crazy cool.
Thank you, Tokusatsu Network.
Yeah. Which, if you guys don't know, she
is the current editor-in-chief.
Editor-in-chief. I was like, what do I call you? Of Tokusatsu Network. If you guys haven't checked that out, please do. They have Facebook groups and they have their website, and it's just all sorts of news. Probably more news that you're going to hear from us, but you're just going to hear us talking about it.
Well, this is why I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
help us out with the news.
Exactly.
I'm filling you in.
Thank you. Someone's got it.
So you want to jump right into
Let's
it?
jump right into it. We're going to talk about episode 17, which is called, do you have the title?
The Outbreak of the Rider Wars.
And episode 18,
The Golden Soldier.
First, we'll talk about the Outbreak of the Rider Wars.
It's very easy to get these two episodes confused because it just goes right into each other.
It is like one nice, solid one story.
Keep in mind, guys, spoilers.
Yeah.
I'd show you, but our green screen is down. Spoilers! All right, let's go. So, shoot, how does this episode start? This episode starts with, they meet... Isn't this where they meet Grease?
Yep.
Yes.
The last episode.
Episode 17, basically, you meet the three guys who are from Hokuto. This is basically the very, very beginning of the war between Touto
and
Hokuto.
Yes.
When these three guys showed up at the end of the last episode, I kind of cracked up because they're these perfectly manga style dudes.
Not overly cheesy, but just enough that it's like, really?
Yeah. There's a guy with a big hair. There's guy with a beret, a guy with a beanie, and they're all just got like really interesting faces.
And they have very specific characters, which I really, really love.
Right.
Really distinct, as opposed to sometimes when you see with other.
Just a bunch of gangsters together. It's just like they're indistinguishable. But now you have like little caricatures for each. It's like okay, I get it.
And there's something about that casting where I feel like they cast these guys to be both threatening a bit, but then there's that goofy thing about them where you go like you don't quite know how they're going to be used for the rest of the show. So they can be used as kind of like your Bebop and Rocksteady of the show, or they could actually maybe they'll be heroes of some fashion. We don't know right now.
A little bit later in this episode, we do get some stuff that there is some stakes involved with their involvement.
Yeah.
But we don't know exactly what, and so we'll hit upon that when we get to it.
Actually, I do know how this episode begins.
Yes.
War, full-on war.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, God, these episodes. So it's just straight up war. Yeah, things are just happening. There's a shot. I don't know. You guys probably haven't watched Digimon Cross Wars, but the first episode is just like straight up war, and it looks just like that. I'm like, dang, they're getting effed up.
Because there's like tanks and the Hokuto's like guardians are there. It's just like things are going to hell right now, and like Sento is what? He's just kind of like...
I don't think he really knows what's happening.
Yeah.
But when he is brought into, crap, what's his name?
Gentoku?
I don't know, I keep forgetting his name. Gentoku's lab. He's like, oh, this is happening for a couple of days. So you've just been chilling in your lab for a couple of days while this war is just happening?
It is an underground lab.
Right.
And, you know, to be honest, if you are any part of any war that suddenly breaks out in the middle of what's supposed to be a safe area, I'd hide underground too.
Yeah,
you know,
this is true.
Especially it's a war that, technically speaking, is probably your fault.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big things I really liked about these particular episodes, is just because it's so much it goes back
consequential episode.
Well, it also goes back to thinking about what the producers and the directors are talking about, where they want to take Build, is because they want to touch back on the very classic Kamen Rider elements. That Kamen Rider comes from an evil organization.
Exactly.
And that he is responsible. And the reason why he's fighting is because I feel responsible, because I used to be part of his organization. I was supposed to be a weapon, but now I'm going to use the weapon meant to destroy and doing it to protect.
I like that, because when we first got this series, we got a bunch of notes and rumors that was like, this is going to be a throwback to the original and a lot of elements. And at the beginning, we kind of saw it, and it just started being its own thing. But now we're like definitely trailing back to the
this is what I liked about the war breaking out, just because there is, even though we're getting silly elements and fun elements and very anime-esque elements, the fact that there is a war, the fact that there's a really great character development in all the characters that's happening so far, and a lot of that has to do with who is taking responsibility.
Yeah,
right.
The stakes feel so much higher now.
And it really comes back to my belief that Kamen Rider and Super Sentai and these like very like the superhero time is just J-drama 101 for children.
Absolutely.
You know, this is introductory.
This whole
Japanese
first
drama.
episode is very J-drama-y. Ooh.
And it's fine, and that's good. Because
good.
it really goes back to those characterizations. A lot of especially when you're talking about the three guys, or the
gangsters.
Crow Brothers, I think they're called.
The Crow Brothers? Is that what
they're
name
called
is?
Crow Brothers.
Yeah. The Hokuto trio, basically.
The trio, yeah.
Like, in which I call them like the other version of the Akamaiser 3.
Really? Oh, man.
Cool.
There's a very Rockamizer 3 element on those guys.
And this might be a spoiler for the next one, because I don't remember where it lands on either 18 or 19, because episode 19 just dropped recently, actually this morning. And so I'm not sure if I'm blending it together, but we get the background of who those three folks are, and the fact that they're so.
That's 19.
That's definitely.
But we get background. So I mean, sorry.
One of the big things that why they're so, it explains why their personalities are so huge.
Okay.
Because the idea is that, Hokuto is known, I remember, is mostly known for, it used to be for farmland.
Yes.
And then they started developing, and then the Skywall tragedy happens, and everything changes. So they're coming from like a countryside, northern countryside as well. So you're thinking about like Hokkaido and things like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so the fact that they're such big, crazy characters and very distinctive is very indicative of where they're coming from and what their background is. And so what I really like with Grease, with Kamen Rider Grease, is that if you're introducing his character, he's the more subdued version, and obviously he's definitely like the leader.
Yeah.
Right.
And there is a reason why these three guys.
It's very apparent as the episode goes along.
Yeah.
I definitely I like his character. And actually, for those of you who have watched Kiva, this is Otoya. I forget, his name escapes me. His actual name escapes me. But this is the same actor who played Otoya in Kamen Rider Kiva. And he's so good. This is such a nice character change from his very,
He has a very cool introduction.
Yes.
He's one of those things where it's like, you can tell, like, part of, like, a cool design is, like, the kind of jacket they wear.
Yeah.
And so, like, his introduction's, like, he's, like, you just get a profile shot of him.
He worked. I feel like he's like, how can I make a cool appearance?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna walk into the side and just sup. I'm here now.
I don't know. His character in Kamen Rider Grease is the kind of guy that Otoya from Kiva wishes he was.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry to Kiva fans, I hated that series.
Oh.
I didn't think Kiva was bad. I thought it could have been better.
I've only seen the first episode, so I don't know
I
much about
love
the show.
Kiva
Yeah.
in terms of his aesthetics. I don't like it in terms of his storytelling. But that's
The jumping back and forth.
no, it's not even that. I have. This is not a
Well, we'll
Kamen
talk
Rider.
about that.
This is not a Kamen Rider Kiva show.
We'll
Let
touch
me not
upon
do
this
that.
at the end. This is Kamen Rider Corner, so we'll get to that. I wanna
But yeah, but Otoya was not my favorite character, and so seeing the same actor, and I've seen him in other things as well, and he kind of plays very similar cool guy and then wannabe cool guy characters in
He
different
feels like
J-dramas.
that.
Yeah. I think it's just because his profile.
Yeah.
He has a very good nose.
That's actually very true. I'll admit to that. It's a good nose.
That's a good profile. But yeah,
His nose?
I love just mildly a little bit. Kind of hard not to be.
but yeah, no, his introduction is like he is so subtle. And that's what I appreciate from his character.
Yeah.
Because it's not over the top, but it's controlled and it's scarier because it's controlled.
Right.
Especially when he talks about like in the later episodes where he's like he doesn't have memories
Yeah.
Yeah.
at all. And so I'm like, oh, there's a reason why it's so controlled and it's scary that way.
Yeah. That does make him very, and that's kind of one of the cool things about him and the trio is that they're incredibly formidable. And that's the thing. That's the thing that does happen in this episode is that Sento and Banjo fight the trio, and we see that they're these advanced smash,
They get
which
wrecked.
which they are called
Hard smash.
I knew that was gonna make him laugh.
Why?
I knew it. I knew that was gonna make
It's
Darrel
one thing
giggle.
to be like, oh, the Smash are attacking. It's like, come on, guys. And now it's hard. Oh God. Japan.
Hard smash. They don't.
But it makes sense. But
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
But
It
adding,
does.
It really
adding
does.
a layer of like, oh, stakes are rising.
Right.
As if an all-out war wasn't already bad.
Right.
But stakes are rising.
And that's kind of the
yeah.
cool thing about that is that like in these two episodes,
Sorry.
it's okay. In these two episodes, we really see that our heroes are gonna be pushed by these guys, and this is not gonna be an easy fight. This is not gonna be one where even I'm just coming. I don't want to jump too much into episode 18 yet, but like this is tough. And even with these guys, like they've fought Smash before, but not to the level where they have to like leave the fight.
This is going to be something that isn't going to be solved in like 1-2 episodes.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to trail on for a little bit, and I wonder how long they're going to keep fighting because these are really formidable opponents.
The guy, the tall red one, he does this really cool move that I like.
Castle?
Yeah, he does this really cool move I like where he puts his like kind of like,
Castle
shield
Stag?
together.
And something else.
Something I forgot what the other two. There's like an owly robot.
Yeah, Owl, Stag, Castle.
That's it. Thank you.
Stag.
Castle is
I
really
just
cool
watched it
move.
this morning, so I'm cheating.
Castle's a really cool move where he puts like he makes like a shield, and
Yes.
it's super awesome. It almost looks like he's getting ready to combine with the other two.
Can they combine?
Oh, Bandai.
Toys. No, but even then, but in the episode just before, he shoots out this giant laser into.
Yeah.
I don't know which town this was. If this was Hokuto or
It's Touto. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
basically the announcement of the invasion.
And he's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm here now. And so he's not only does he have this really good defense, he has this like incredible laser gun. I don't think we got to see him use really during the battles in this episode and the next. I can't wait to see what they do.
Right.
Or if like they get an upgrade to their powers. Maybe they're
Oh,
riders.
they're definitely upgraded. They'll definitely upgrade. Well, one of the things I really liked about, the three of them and how formidable it was in the beginning, it's like when you get characters like Stalk and Night Rogue, when they show up, it's like, oh, these guys are scary. And then, you get that set of episodes where, when Build and Cross Z are powering up, and things like that. And so they Rogue and Stalk, you could already feel like, oh, they can put up a fight with these two.
Yeah.
And so by introducing another set of enemies, that is also, it brings back that like, oh, it's really scary. There's another group of people, then they have to power up even more.
Yeah. And the fact that they're so interesting personality-wise is like there's another level and detail to the world building they've been creating. That just adds a lot of flavor to the show.
Exactly.
Especially at this point, what are we, it's episode 17 and 18, so we're at that point where it's like, time to shake it up a little bit.
We're getting a lot of answers, which is what I'm very happy about. Because on the past shows, we've been saying that like Build has just been consistently good, never great. And now that we've hit this like, now that he got Sparkling, and from there it's just been like this roller coaster of what in the world? What is happening? And so I'm glad that I'm feeling this from a writer show, because I haven't felt like that in a while. Like just like watching things.
Well, there's also a layer of like political intrigue,
and I like that a lot.
and it's realistic too, because you're like, I guess folks will forget that there's three. You're dealing with three different countries now.
Right.
Yeah, you're basically dealing with three different principalities, all with their own specific agendas, and it's really nice finally seeing that agenda clash.
Yes,
Yeah.
And then you're wondering where the rest of, like, where, if it's a tripod, where the third leg is going to be. And it's great. And so being able to put those stakes in the Kamen Rider, so you have like character drama, you have character development, and then you have political intrigue. And then it's really, really good.
And it just feels like that's the thing, is like when the show like sets up this huge like world concept, and the fact that they're paying off, like they're actually like they didn't forget details.
Yeah,
that's one of those things where we've been saying this since day one. Clearly, this is one of the strongest written writer shows in a while, and the fact you can almost see the experience of the writers, that like they know how to at least set up like long form storytelling.
Exactly.
And that's what's really cool about Build so far.
The thing about the early episodes of Build, we were just saying that like we just wish the beginning half was stronger, because a lot of people I know have been watching this. It's like, oh, I know, it's just whatever, and so they dropped off, and now it's getting to this point where it's like, oh, it's so good now. Like, what about this beginning part?
You gotta kind of think about it when you're dealing with Kamen Rider, and when you're dealing with like Super Sentai, you're dealing with like 49
something episodes. Exactly.
Yeah, and then that pace, it's really, I'm even thinking about all the writers that I know. I'm like, that's a lot of episodes.
Right.
And so being able to pace yourselves by the different cores, so to speak, and it's like, I'm actually 100% okay that Build, I disagree that Build didn't have a good opening, because I think it did. Namely just because it's setting, that beginning has to kind of be slow and deliberate.
I'm funny. No.
I think when we get to the end of the show, it'll be fun to look back at the whole package.
Well, that's what kind of I'm thinking of Kamen Rider Gaim in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like how Kamen Rider Gaim started and then how it ended. Are we looking at the same show? But I know we are. And it goes from one to the other. And I think for me, that's how Build is happening.
Exactly. And hopefully it'll still be at this level by the time we hit the end. Here's hoping.
I'm glad you brought up Gaim, because that's the other show I feel like this is very similar to, in the factor that it's like Gaim is set in a show that is completely in its own world that they've created. And we get wacky at one point with that show, and the world and each episode, and basically even
they bombed the United States.
And they do bomb the United States.
They're just like, no.
And no one even and they're saying by this time, it's X amount of years later from like there, and like, is the United States still?
No,
Is it gone? It's still gone.
I'm pretty sure it's gone.
Well, to go into Gaim for ever so briefly, and I will stick it, but it's like kind of what I like about this show with Build as well, is like, the first 8 episodes of Gaim, I feel like, it's a show that I had to understand. Where I'm like, okay,
break dancers in the streets using dangerous weapons of war-ish.
But by like, exactly.
Based on fruits.
Yes. By episode 5, I'm like, oh, I think I'm into this show. That's kind of cool. Then episode 8 comes, and then a bat monster shows up. And then I went, now it's a Kamen Rider show. And that's when like it doesn't stop being the other show, but now it's becoming a show. That's
Now it's
like
becoming the
Kamen
show
Rider.
I'm sort of familiar with its own little spin.
But what was cool about that is like I was actually digging the other show.
Yeah.
I was like, oh cool, I'm actually gotten used to the idea of this weird people, and then the Bat Monster show's like, and now it's Kamen Rider, and now you're doing both, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the show changes even further from that, and that's kind of what Build's been doing. Is like they kind of sort of gave up on the Smash of the Week. Mm-hmm. So, and which is fine.
Well, that was really good in terms of establishing what smashes are.
Absolutely.
And that's what I liked about the beginning part of Build, is just because it's literally building on what came before, so that by the time you get to the all-out war, they're not the stakes of human experimentation and things like that. You get to focus more on that story rather than the mechanics of it.
Right.
And so that's where
Jumping
that
back to
helps out.
Gaim really quick, I was thinking about this on my drive here while I was looking for parking and everything. I was like, Ryūga actually, Banjo, makes a speech during the second episode, during episode 18, that makes me think, are you going to make it to the end of this series?
Ooh.
He says, like, there's nobody who's going to cry if I die.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm the best person for this
And then
job.
Sento is just like, shut up. No. You better think about that. No. It's okay. No one's going to cry if I die. I'm like, are you
It's
foreshadowing something?
very Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
It's very Kamen Rider. That act of self-sacrifice.
Yes.
Again, like and they're approaching it. Both Banjo and Sento are approaching it the same problem, two different ways, with the same ideology,
Yes.
but with different attitudes. So it's, again, there's that pillar of like the first and second rider that I really, really like.
Yes.
And we get that same dynamic even with Night Rogue and Bloodstock.
Yeah,
Don't
for
take
sure.
my spotlight away. I'm the main writer.
Yeah.
I like how meta that was, but that was just.
Yeah, well, it goes back to his like whole egotistical, funny
Yeah.
thing.
But what's also cool is that he did that as a tactical effort to keep him off the belt, because
Yes.
he knows that the belt is actually very harmful.
Yeah.
Which is we didn't know that about episode 17. When he's working on the belt, he's basically finished, but basically told Banjo, like, we're not using this thing.
Yeah.
More or less.
As far as we know, it's a completely finished belt, and there's no way to void the harmful effects of the splash driver.
There's also this episode where it's like, is this which episode has the one where Isurugi
We're jumping
calls
around
him? We
already.
are. Which one's episode had Isurugi call him? Was that's episode
18.
18.
Yeah.
That is
That's
episode 18.
18.
Yeah.
18 to explain. 18 to explain
How the belt came to
how
be.
the belt came to be. Yeah.
That's right. And that's a really cool scene too, because he's like, that's the whole thing. Sento does this thing where he hides some of the truth to protect his friends, which is both, hey, I get where you're coming from, but also maybe you should start telling them some of these things.
Yeah.
Also, we have speaking of Kamen Rider elements and J-drama elements, sometimes I'm just like, just talk.
Just
talk
talk
to them.
I feel like that's another thing. We'll talk about Grease in a sec, but I feel like the whole time they meet up with Grease and start fighting, it's like, guys.
What if we talked?
Yeah.
All right. Are you doing this of your own volition or what?
What I like too about Misora is that she's the one, like, you have these two, Banjo and Sento, like oil and water.
Yeah.
Like, but they're coming up together.
Yeah.
Which is great, and they're doing their own thing. And they're not talking, obviously.
Right.
But what I like having Misora and reporter lady that I forgot her name. Anyway.
I'm blanking on that.
Anyway, reporter.
Continue, please.
But while our reporter lady is there for mostly exposition and background and
Yeah.
being that information person, Misora's coming in to be able to bridge that communication gap between them.
Right.
Because she then understands, where Sento is coming from. She then understands even where her dad is coming from.
Yeah.
And she understands where Banjo is coming from.
Oh.
Just by, taking the time to just sit down and go, here's coffee. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
She's definitely the bridge. I noticed actually in this episode when you talked about her dad that she now confirmed knows that Master Dad is a villain. I don't
Yeah.
know if she knows exactly who he's. Bloodstock, Stark, depending on the.
I think she knows it. Yeah, I think by this time she knows it all because they were talking about everything.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
we didn't get that conversation. Before, it was just like kind of inferred that she was being
Manipulated,
clued in.
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, we're just gonna, okay. Sure then. Cool.
But it's good because especially where that scene where she's telling, Master that, like, no matter what, these memories are going to be precious to me. And when we get the reveal that, Sento is Katsuragi, and, he's technically responsible for all of these things, it goes back to these are all deeply flawed characters. Yeah. And it also, again, goes back to the classic Kamen Rider themes of you can come from the most terrible and be responsible for the most terrible things, but it's really the totality of what you do with it that will, like, and the show will never, this is what I love about Japanese media. No show I've seen in terms of, like, anime and things like that will ever give any black and white answers or whether or not someone's good or evil or someone's good or responsible.
Exactly.
It's whether or not you take responsibility, whether you do it in the right way or the wrong way, or whether it hurts other people.
Some kids anime thing.
Well, yeah, but it also goes back again to it goes back to who's taking responsibility? Do you take responsibility for what you're doing or what you came from? And because these are deeply flawed people, it allows people who are watching. You are also a deeply flawed person, and you are also capable of taking responsibility and doing and protecting other people and doing the right thing.
This is a good
100% agree.
This is a good segue to me talking about Misura's bit in episode 17, where she's feeling the respontality as she's walking through this war-torn.
Oh man, that was so
This is a show for 5-year-olds.
It's J-drama for 5-year-olds.
And there's these children crying for their parents because they're probably dead.
That was ridiculous.
When you think, you also prepare, this is a small island nation, and so you're thinking about, think about natural disasters that happen, think about, even just wars that happen. This is still a country that comes from those big wars that touch them. We in the United States haven't had much of that. We don't have anything in recent histories, unless you're in Hawaii, with that kind of situation. So it's really interesting to see it from how Japan, expresses post-disaster, post-natural, post-big things that happen to them. So, it's like watching... the shows we with the procedural shows we have now that pull from the news, and you get to see how people have reacted because of that. So which is kind of great. So when I get that, when we got that,
she's just so giddy.
It's good. No, when we get that scene with Misora and Sento, and again that led me to that gave me that train of thought. I'm like, these are just deeply flawed people, but they are taking the responsibility and they're feeling and just goes, it's okay. We can't stay here.
Yeah.
Right.
We can't, and Sento going, and that was his impetus to go, I can't hide anymore. I have to take responsibility.
Oh, and this leads into this amazing speech from Sento.
Oh, yeah.
That, the trio comes back,
he's
ruining the
finally
moment.
Understanding.
Yeah.
He's finally understanding, I can't keep running away. I keep sitting.
Yeah.
What was this? I keep sitting on my high horse. That no, we can't use the rider system for war.
Yeah.
But in fact, that's the only thing that's going to stop this.
Yeah. The end of the speech is him going you guys keep insisting that this is for war. I'm gonna prove to you this is for justice.
Yeah.
And he puts the belt on, and as much as I love this speech, it is undercut by the fact that he is a soda man. A little bit. I get it. I get used to it. I understand. But he's a soda man.
We had Fruit Samurai.
I know. Yeah. I know. This is the world we live in.
Fruit Samurai God.
This is the world we live in.
We had Fruit Samurai. We had high school skyrocket. At some point, we just gotta get over this.
Oh no! And 90% of the time, I just let it roll over. But there's sometimes I went, you're soda. You're Pepsi man. That's fine. I'll move on. That's until
I've seen worse forms. I still hate.
No. I still like the form.
Forza Magnet States. That's my least favorite.
I love Forza Magnet.
Really?
I think it was a good design.
I think it looks like a toilet with turret guns.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
I'm not fighting on that. But there's
there's a difference between favorite versus best. Okay. There's a difference.
That's very true.
Screw y'all. Fight me.
Did she just throw it out fighting? Even before she
over Forza Magnet.
Let's do it.
That thing on Twitter was don't at me. Paula's at me.
Do it. Bring me in this convo.
blow up my phone Twitter notifications.
Give me
It's all
something
good.
to do.
Hold up. Just let me.
You want to go nuts? Let's go nuts.
Let's do it.
Forza Magnusate was a good form. And so I really like sparkling just because if you're gonna have what I like about it in terms of gimmicks, just because they're so used to they're playable, they're supposed
right.
to be.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So sparkling, the feeling of it is I'm like I really want to play with that
I just
toy.
wish it wasn't.
That's
I just wish it wasn't so big. I love the form sparkly. I just wish the thing wasn't like the size of my.
You know what? That's how I
head.
feel about the Ghost Driver.
Yeah.
Because like the Ghost design is really, really cool. But
Yeah.
you have this gigantic belt that can't be easy to like do stunts.
This
Yeah.
weirdly glow in the
She
dark.
says like in
whatever.
Forza Magnusate. But
Like, can't even like.
well, I guess we can move forward in terms of talking about Kamen Rider Grease, is because that form is also pretty like I'm watching it in terms of like from a stunt point of view. I'm watching it like see where the movements
Exactly.
are
Right.
and stuff like that. And
Grease looks very heavy. As
Yeah.
far
It does
as
look
like.
very
but
heavy.
I also noticed that like I have to figure out or ask a few production folks that I may know about how they're built in terms of like where their in terms of how their stunts are, because there was the fight between Dragon and Dragon Crossy and Grease, where the suit actor for Grease does a coin drop. If you guys are familiar with like breakdancing moves and b-boy moves, a coin drop is basically like you're jumping down from into your elbow or into your shoulder. Well, this is your elbow. This is your shoulder. I know anatomy. So
Paula Gaetos
yeah, so he does a Crossy will do a overhead slash, and then as a retaliation, as a dive and a what is that? Dodge.
There you go.
Like there is a D
was
word
like-
that I don't. That was not.
I'm here like, what is she trying to say?
So Crossy does a upward swipe. Grease does a dodge, and the dodge is a coin drop, and that's like a jump down and into his shoulder where those pad for his mechanics are, and I'm like, are those padded? That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Because it's a coin drop into like a jump up so that he can like attack back. So the stunt coordination in that is even kind
It's
of
fantastic.
fantastic.
It's very cool.
The whole fight scene, like just with Grease showing up at the robot bottle, I wasn't expecting it to be called the robot bottle, first of all. I thought it was going to be the Grease bottle, but whatever. At least it's not.
Passion burning.
Yeah.
Igniting.
Overflowing.
Adjectives.
Squishing, squash, stream,
I do want to
overflow.
I want to bring up a little bit about the Splash Belt, and I'm curious about how the toy works. In the term,
The squish. The
yeah.
actual squish.
Does the actual? That's one thing I realized. Like, does the actual toys? It does.
It's soft.
It's stuffed.
It's soft. I don't know if it's soft. I don't know if it's stuffed. It's probably it's soft.
Soft.
Very
Okay.
similar, like the way the full bottles are weighted.
Yeah.
To go up and down.
Yeah.
To show that mechanics. The gel is supposed to be. I believe it's gel, so it is soft. If you
Wow.
there's a second hand merchandise website called Kotetsu Toys, and if you follow him on Instagram, he'll have demonstrations of those. Of the different bottles. We also have on the Tokenet our resident toy guy, Shuki Shinobi.
I love Shuki.
Yeah, Brian's amazing.
Collector Shuki.
Yeah, Collector Shuki has his also does demonstrations on the different belts and stuff like that. And I think he has this new Splash driver.
Okay.
If not, Brian, sorry, let me know. but if you prefer doing it on Instagram, Kotetsu Toys has an Instagram account. That does the different demonstrations, and then or Collector Shuki as well.
Cool, because I was legitimately curious about that because I saw I didn't realize that the bottle does squish, and as I'm looking at that, I'm like, so does the toy do that? And how many times can you do that before
It finally breaks.
it finally breaks? It's the weird mechanics of toys in my brain, but whatever.
Yeah.
What I like about it too is that I like that they're condensing things they're thematically condensing things
Right.
to gel form.
Gel.
Right.
So as they're
I just
going.
thought that was weird.
I mean, they're also, if you're coming from, you're pulling basically, the source of power for all these things is the nebula gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's coming from the sky wall, which originated from Pandora's box.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out in terms of mechanics where this one comes. So you're pulling, you're basically pulling a gas state, which was like the least powerful form. That's where we get Night Rogue and Bloodstock. And you turn it into a liquid state, which we get with the build bottles and the full bottles.
Right.
What's the next thing up? Well, you basically pressurize it, and that turns into the soda.
Yes.
What's more powerful than that? If you condense it down to a more like gelatinous liquid state, that's where you get the splash driver. So if you're you're basically taking it in terms of scientific. You're getting from a gas state into a liquid state, and you're finding the most potent at this point is the liquid gel state.
I'll be damned.
And so for the liquid gel state, it basically says that like that's the most purified form of the Pandora's box, which goes back to that light, and the light is that originated.
Wow.
Science.
That's another
The equation
thing.
should be flying around you right now.
Whoa, what? I was thinking about that too. So, we get this thing, which is technically the power-up for Ryūga's form.
We haven't talked about that yet. That's right.
And that form is essentially the equivalent to sparkling as far as, like, where their power levels are and stuff like that.
But their hazard levels, when they revealed it in episode 18, is that the gel form brings his Banjo's hazard level a tenth of a point up.
Yeah.
A tenth of a point? Point 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's point
And
one
we'll
up.
continue to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, so the eventual final form that we know we're going to get, that we haven't been revealed to, what is that going to be? Is that
Which
gonna
is really
be a
interesting,
jelly?
just because we go back to, Bloodstock saying that his whole goal is to see these boys grow.
Yeah.
Right.
And he says that the only way for hazard level for you to rise is either you do it with the gas as a smash.
Yeah.
If you're exposed to gas as a smash, no. Or you use the Kamen Rider gel form, either nebula form,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And the only for you to raise your hazard level is to basically do it with experience. So you're basically pulling fight EXE points
Right.
in order to raise
You're
your
doing
level.
EXA correctly.
Yeah. If you notice in terms of like even like I said, they're building on what the camera form in terms of like the stunts work. X8 had a lot of like I noticed a lot of crane and drone camera work.
Yeah, that's your
and we're
favorite.
seeing that a lot more too
so happy.
in build, because we get helicopter form for Greece,
Which was great.
and we got Hot Gatling for build, and of course there's Crossy, who's a dragon, and why aren't you flying?
There are two new forms that are introduced in this episode,
Yes.
episode 18. One of them is Robot Phoenix, which looks kind of
It's
cool.
alright.
It looks like a
kinda like-
hot Gatling, but with red.
I don't know what it is. I like kind of like a capey thing, or like
No capes.
No cape.
Wait, really quick. How are you about Lupin? Lupin.
I love Lupin. I'm Team Lupin Ranger, 100%. They have a butler. That's all I care about.
So the capes, you're okay with?
I'm okay with the capes.
Okay.
I like
And it's one. It's not even like the big, like, I have a giant cape and we'll fly with it. But no, it's just the one. It's very tasteful. Okay. It's very tuxedo mask, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Moving on. I just wanted to
Fight me.
Let's go.
Hashtag pro capes.
Just stay away from engines. That's all I ask.
I actually anything like kind of like a long cape thing, or just like a what's that one? I forgot which one mode had like kind of a shoulder cape thing.
Oh, that's
Kaizoku
Beast.
train.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was
Pirate
thinking
train.
Beast.
That's correct too. You're not wrong. But that's not the same show.
It's not like we haven't talked about other shows.
Well, it's very true. It's very true. But no, I kind of like I like that type of kind of design element personally. And then what's the other one? It was like smartphone.
It's Smartphone Wolf,
That
and
was
the
the
call
one.
sign is like
connected lone wolf?
Yeah, the connected online lone wolf, and I'm all like,
Wait.
who's looking into my apartment? Like, what?
Side note: I was very close to changing my
Yeah,
Twitter
you
handle.
described the entire.
the entire
Their
fandom.
fandom.
Exactly. The fandom.
I really wanted to change my Twitter handle to that.
Smartphone wolf.
Smartphone. No, what was the other one?
The connected online wolf.
The connected online wolf.
Wolf.
I think that's gonna be my new Twitter handle.
That's so funny. I like how meta that is, and I was just like, huh. Well, we finally saw this form because we saw this in a preview, like, PSA video where it's like, this is build, and you can do things. So here it is, finally getting to see it in action. It's pretty OP. He has like one. I mean, it's kind of ironic, but he's using the smartphone as a shield.
Right.
I think that's
That's
ironic.
He has one of those like like armor
The-
armor anti-crack shield
yeah.
for your smartphone.
And
Does
then
he
he'll
does he have
attack you
access
with
to
a wolf.
apps? I'm not sure about that.
Oh, well, that's what like.
There's like pictures of apps on that.
Yeah,
phone.
there
That
is.
feels very
Well-
decadey. Just let's go.
I mean, if you want to pick the laziest way to do it.
Or cosmic states. They're technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
As
and
long as
then,
they get to Twitter on it, I think he's fine.
but on top of those forms, we get two other forms. We get cross, squash, splash, whatever form. I don't know what it's called. Full chart, whatever. And grease. I don't know what it's
I'm
called.
letting you hang, and I'm not.
I don't know what it's called. But this is the new power-up form for
Banjo.
For Banjo, which isn't really a power-up form.
It's like a second writer form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because now he has to okay, mid-battle, let's go.
Yeah.
If I can be personal, if I can be put my own personal opinion on that, the new form is fine, but not as cool as Cross.
No, it's not.
No,
I like it. I feel like if it was
Yeah.
its own
I
writer,
wouldn't buy
totally.
its SH fig arts. I'd buy the original Cross Z fig art.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In terms of design and elements in it.
Yeah, it's just Cross Z is just a super cool look, and this one is fine.
Yeah.
You want to change it up a little bit?
It's
sure.
whatever.
Yeah,
It's whatever.
The Splash Drivers is very Meteor-esque.
Yes.
From Floor's, it's very Meteor.
Yeah, because there's that element of kind of a glass helmet thing.
I'm okay with that, and I
Yeah.
actually really like it. I just don't wish that was the step up. I wish that was a completely different writer or something. Maybe that could have been the grease to his dragon, you know?
Oh, sure. Mhm.
You know, because there's throughout the episode we see this giant rivalry between Grease. I forget his name in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, they
Grease-
don't reveal until episode 19, so you're okay.
Oh, okay, really? Okay, cool.
All right, we're good.
So Grease versus versus Banjo, and they're going at it. It's this is the fight I've always wanted, and it's nice to see these kind of meatheads go at it and just go at this whole fight. And I kind of wish that this power up was a separate writer, and these are the two dragons that were fighting or something like that. And Grease would be the opposite of Build or something like that. You know?
Right. No, I can see that.
I really wish. But Grease. Let's talk about Grease really quick. Grease is.
He's really good.
He's
Yeah.
very good.
I'm really angry at how much I like him as a
Same.
character because I hated Otoya so much. No, I don't. Why you? Why are you so good at this? And it really pisses me off because I hated Otoya so much. I tweeted about it late last night when I was, catching up,
yeah.
and I'm sitting there just going, "Why are you Otoya? Why are you the same actor as Otoya?" I hated Otoya so much, and as soon as he does the one bang and then doing this
Yeah.
and then bites his lip and then just getting ready to go, I'm like, no.
Do not make me like you. How dare you?
Yeah, I was I literally, as soon as he basic, I put up the gif and he's just one smirk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you be attractive to me right now? Why?
There's another writer that did that same thing because I was like, oh god, I hate your character. And they did something, I was like, stop. Do not make me like you. I don't remember who it was, but I just remember, it might have been Phoenix in Q Ranger. It might have been Tsurugi, but I was like, oh man, I don't like it. Stop making me like you.
Just as an aside for Mitsurugi, that instant henshin that he goes from Phoenix, and then as he's attacking, he transforms.
that flash forward.
Super.
Woo!
That was super cool.
That was
Because he was fighting Anton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was rad.
That was
It
really
rad.
good.
It works. It's superhero time.
yeah.
No.
Superhero time. Yeah, that's. But Grease is cool. I don't know. I was before I got live on here. I was reviewing the episode. I was driving. Don't drive that at home. But I was thinking about God. It's so cool. He can just pull out a helicopter blade
Yeah.
and just start flying around. Never once did I think, let's just attach a helicopter to his hand and let him fly around like that.
It's like Inspector Gadget, but way cooler.
Way cooler.
Way cooler. There's another thing too with him, where he's noticing that he recognizes Misora.
That was funny.
Here's the thing. This is what I love.
It'll pay off next episode so well.
This is
I
what I
love it
lo-
so much.
This is what I love about the way they set it up. When he starts like, well, she looks very familiar. My brain went, oh, wow.
Is she originally from Hokuto?
Yeah.
Like, is that your sister?
Yeah, no, exactly. Those are all the thoughts in my head. Whoa, what's going on here?
Because family dynamics is, again, very classic Kamen Rider.
Exactly. No. And then we get to the end of episode 18. He gets one more look at her. Because she comes in, saves the day by throwing a rocket panda.
That was the most BA thing. they roll in there like Tokyo Drift, and they're just like, take this.
Yeah.
And Grease just lets it. What? This is happening. Rocket Panda's out of there, and then as she drives by,
Yeah. He looks at her, and then the reveal is he's a Meton fan. And I'm like, what?
of all the things, I never thought.
And what I really liked about that is, again, it's reminding you, like, oh, what happened in the past? And we were talking about it when the first time I was part of the show, it was like, well, her face is like all over the internet. Like, she's an idol.
Right.
And so I find it really, and the payoff for next episode is just, it's so good, y'all.
Just knowing that, I don't know, this makes me even more excited than knowing.
It's his phone.
Yeah.
Screensaver.
You know, I didn't really register that until you said that just now.
It's his lock screen, too.
Yeah, it's a lock screen.
It's what he sees every time he picks up his phone. Some people have their dogs.
Yeah.
Some people have, like, Power Rangers. Some people have, like, other things. He has Meton.
Like, oh, that makes me even happier and more excited knowing that, like, oh man, I think I would have been really invested. Like, oh, it's my sister, my long-lost sister, and I would have been invested.
Yeah.
But this has me even more. I can't believe this.
That's amazing.
This
It feels realistic, to be perfectly fair.
Totally.
Yeah, it totally is. And I'm so glad that's a thing.
Well, what's your lock screen?
I was going to say, let's pull your lock screens out. Right now, ready? Mine is Dan Mora's artwork for Power Rangers.
Mine is fan art from Pokemon.
Nice.
I feel hoity-toity with mine because it's the introduction to William Blake's classic poetry. So excuse me if I'm feeling a little.
Whatever.
Sorry, it's just classical poetry. That's all. From one of the greatest illustrators in the world.
That's fine.
Only.
Do you want some tea?
I do actually. I'm a very
too-
much tea
too-
person. This is what happens when you're a
too.
librarian and also like Power Rangers.
I'm not gonna lie though, I have been really craving tea.
I've been sick. I've been drinking a lot of green tea.
No, that's fair. No, fair.
But yeah.
That was
But
an easy
before
step.
that,
I'm sorry.
before that, it was actually, what was it before that? I have so many options.
Sometimes I change it depending on how I feel, but I haven't changed mine in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the last one I had was, what was the screenshot?
Well, like this shot of that Dan Mora drew of just them helpless.
Oh yeah, that's
Is-
a really good. Demora for Go-Go Power Rangers has been a really good series.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, so
Oh my god.
before, so that I get my geek cred back, it was my She-Ra.
That's
That's a cool one.
that's
And
phenomenal.
it was
She-Ra,
at
yeah.
the time too.
That's great.
Yeah.
You drew that.
And her artist is Anne Oh my
I was
god.
gonna say, can't you just? There we go.
Marcelino? It's Anne Marcelino. She's an animator
Awesome.
for DreamWorks. But yeah, there's my geek cred. My lock screen used to be She-Ra before I went all classical William Blake poetry.
Why don't we go check out what the comments have been saying?
Yes.
We actually have not. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Sorry. It's
What we
Seriously,
got
thanks
here?
for joining us, guys.
go for it.
Well, okay. It looks like Special Form 12 is kind of brought up some fun points. Let's see here. He brings up a theory that Sparkling might have a unique connection to the Pandora box.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I can see that. Not sure how exactly where, but
Right.
that will make sense. He also brings up the stuff. Go read it. Just-
The final form gimmick will involve them shoving a brick into the build driver and smashing it with a hammer. I mean, I am like legitimately curious what they're going to do, but
I'm visualizing the brick. I'm visualizing the toy hammer.
I'm visualizing like the Pandora box opening up, like the way they have their panels.
Yeah.
Might I add another reveal? There are 6 panels, 10 bottles per panel, which means
this is news
kitties.
to me.
There's 60.
You have to
And
buy 60.
what I also like is that it's basically you're giving the stakes. You're giving you're giving the rules to this treasure hunt.
It's like
Absolutely,
it feels
yeah.
like the medals from O's, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things I really enjoyed because you knew how many medals sort of that existed, and now that we have a number, one, collectors know how many they're going to get, plus additional extras. And two, it raises the stakes.
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was going to be on each panel, though. I thought it was going to be just on those 2 panels that they had. But now that we know that there's more, I was like, oh, crud.
Well, they're bringing the geometry and like, numerical stakes back. It's
Exactly.
like, yeah, and like I said, it's basically you're setting up, if everybody's chasing after these bottles, you want to know what those rules are. You want to know how much they are. You need an inventory list before you go treasure hunting.
Yeah, and it does set up a structure for the show, and it's like, all right, cool. Now that's kind of like getting all the Ranger keys in Gokaiger. It's like,
there was like, what, 100 Ranger keys?
Well, if you're talking about each team, yeah. But if you're just talking about just individual Ranger teams, you had at least 34.
Yeah.
Plus the Gokaiger, that's 35. Yeah. So, okay, at least you have to get up to 34 teams to get the full Super Sentai up to that point.
And they do this, they do this almost like every other season.
Yeah.
So you O's did that, Ghost did that too. There's X amount of
Yeah.
souls you have to get, or
Right.
whatever, heroes you have to inspire.
I like that. I really do like that. I just
Your inventory list before.
Inventory list. That's what I'm looking for. I was thinking about that. I was like, what do we call it? Let's see. Special Form 12. This glass driver is so dangerous because it condenses your brain into goop and then splurts it all over your body and then blah, blah. Well, it is dangerous. We didn't touch upon that really. Is that every time he uses this glass driver, it does make him more want to fight, war.
It's a very classic berserker kind
Yeah.
of. So if you ever even done any RPG stakes, it's basically the same thing. You're tapping into your own strength to raise the level, but you're also tapping into your life.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And it's who was another writer that did it? Xeranos? Oh no, kinda.
Xeranos was doing that, and it was just memories. It wasn't like
memories.
his life, but those memories were precious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to rewatch that.
Yeah, Kamen Rider suffering is part of the deal.
It's been there since Hongo.
Yeah.
It really is.
He can't even hold a child and bruise that child because he's a cyborg, man.
Yeah.
And then isn't Otoya Kurenai the lovable womanizer who will even hit on God?
Yep.
Yep.
He could. Yeah.
So I want to ask you this because we're gonna start wrapping up. Do you think the last section, whatever the third of the Japan is called, Saito.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna get their own rider? Yeah.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because they have their own bottles. Because the point, and what I like too, is that they, during 17 and 18, they were, when Hokuto was trying to hey, you team up with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
I don't like that woman. I just really.
What
I hate her.
You're supposed to, because
Yeah.
again, they talked about whoever was exposed to that light, their personality completely changes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it's either, and then what I like about too is that, is it really the personality changes, or or is it tapping into something that was already there and innate?
She feels more
everybody has a
unhinged.
dark side.
Right.
She feels
Everybody
more
does.
unhinged than any of the other three. Like
But
the other
I
three.
love that about her.
Oh, that makes. I want to reach in to strangle her.
I think that's the point. There's nothing that makes me happier than a freaking queen.
I just like her battle-ready beret.
Yeah,
That's
she's ready to, and
Don't you want to
listen, when you get a woman like that who's gonna kill you with a smile and look impeccable, take me.
Fair.
I'm done. This is how I want to die. But yeah, what I really liked about her in particular was, again, it goes back to that politics play, and and what I like too is that everybody had, the whole point for Pandora's box to open is for everybody to work together.
Exactly.
Which is a very, idealistic thing to do.
Yeah.
But I
But
wonder
here's
if they're
where your
finally gonna
idealism and actual politics is gonna, when you have people who are flawed and dangerous,
Right.
take something like that. And I'm
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
yes. this is
And
what I want.
that's the exciting part of where this show could go, and I'm looking forward to that because it's setting up so much of.
I definitely
want
to see Sato's Kamen Rider team.
It could even be a totally different belt too, which is super
Yeah,
exciting.
or it could be a whole different set of clashes.
Right.
Let's
Smashes.
see. We have a new person in chat. Crab Stump. What if Utsumi is a cyborg? Also, Utsumi is alive. And then Special Form 12. When you shoot your ex-boyfriend off a bridge, but he comes back weeks later running from the company you work for.
We also have here, looks like a comment from last episode.
Okay.
We got here,
Bhumika Mitra.
Yeah. Hey guys, awesome review. I just started watching Kamen Rider, and the reviews helped me to understand a lot.
Hey.
Thank you.
That's what we're here for.
Banjo's character seems to be a jerk.
Well, he's a meathead. A lovable meathead that's kind of smart at times.
Yeah. I can understand what he's going through, but I don't like it. He's a bit like Tsurugi, both being initially jerks, air quotes. I hope he changes soon. And I argue he's been changing.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
has been. He's been getting smarter. And the fact that he listened in during the whole, like, the girlfriend call, it was just like, he didn't just charge you. It's like, what do you mean that's going to make me worse? You know, he did the last episode where he just ruined the whole meeting.
He means well. He's just not very smart. And
You're used to someone he's a fighter. That's how he lived his life.
Right.
And if someone who rather not talk and be nuanced or be subtle about anything, that's the kind of personality you're gonna get. It's very confrontational.
You know, it's very interesting though that he's the kind of guy that's very straightforward. Yet he should be the one asking the questions. It's like, hey, let's just talk about it instead of just hiding everything.
Right.
You know, and it's still not happening.
But yeah, like I said, he's the guy that will use a hammer rather than a scalpel.
So the last more note is the episode ends with guess who's alive?
Utsumi. He got shot off a bridge and now he's back.
And
I loved it.
what is that going to entail? We'll find out.
I think he's
in
going to be a
episode
rider.
19.
Maybe. Or maybe he'll be the new Bloodstark.
No, all we know is that he came into the office
not
just
Blood
going,
Sign,
I lived, bitch.
All right. So I think that does about wrap up this episode.
Yes, it does. Thank you guys so much for watching. But before we wrap up, where can we find all of you guys on social media? Go.
Sorry, this way. Okay. Find me on Twitter at Justin Quizon, on Instagram at Justin Quiz. I have two podcasts. I have two monthly podcasts I also do. One's called Benview on Spielberg. Another one is called
Shining Yuusha.
That's my comic book. You jumped ahead.
Well,
my other one is called Nothing New, a Remake podcast. That episode just dropped a couple days ago. And yes, Darrel just jumped the gun and talked about that's the webcomic I co-create with artist writer Victor Perfecto. And if you're watching this show, clearly like Tokusatsu and Henshin Heroes, and go ahead, read our comic. It's free. What's nothing wrong with that? It's on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook.
And then you guys can find me on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Darrel Delfin. You guys can find me on that hashtag shows, Henshin Hangout and Ranger Wrap Up every Saturday, except for next Saturday, because I'm going to be at Anime LA. Anime LA. We're going to be over there with a bunch of hashtag crew. We're going to be doing interviews and just meeting a bunch of people. And then on Sunday, if you guys are in the Pasadena area, you guys can meet me at Pasadena Comic Con. I'm going to have a table. We're going to be doing 2 panels, apparently. I was told yesterday. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, please stop by. It's going to be fun.
And you can find me on Twitter at Paula Gaetos, Gaetos. I am also, like I said, the current editor-in-chief of the Tokusatsu Network. Woo! We are at tokusatsunetwork.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel has a bunch of interviews with your favorite Kamen Rider producers, directors, and actors as well. So please subscribe, check us out.
Oh, they also have the TokuNet community, which is a Facebook group and allows you guys to interact directly with all of them and just other like-minded people. We have that as well, called THS Hashtagger. So if you guys are there, please make your way over there for more Toku-related stuff.
Yay! Thanks, y'all.
So that is basically it. So next week, we're basically caught up now. So we're going to hit episode 19. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. So don't forget, hard smash that like button. I knew it. I knew you knew I was going to say it. Hard smash that like button. Please subscribe to PCR and share this video. All that other stuff that everyone else says on YouTube. And okay. And that being said, we are